Hey, happy day 521 of What's She Up To Now. I am hopping on Facebook Live on a very obscure page, which is really interesting, right? That I've picked a very obscure page of my own to share my personal journey with. My journey from offline brick and mortar businesses and corporate America to the online world. And I think I probably shared it on an obscure page because I thought I'd be done by now, right? I thought I'd be a billionaire by now in the online world. Not really, but we get these ideas when we're going to start a new adventure and a new business and a new area of our life or a new direction in our life, that it's going to go super duper quick and super duper smoothly, and it's going to be so easy based on our past and the things that we've done in the past. And sometimes what we discover is that we have a whole lot to learn. We have a whole lot more to learn than we think we did. And I am no exception. I've had a lot to learn as I have entered the online world. And part of why I think it takes so long sometimes is we think we have to learn a lot more than we actually do in order to achieve success. Now, here's the deal. We define success. Success to me is learning and understanding and being able to teach other people what I've learned and create a duplicatable, successful system for myself. That's how I define success. And other people define success as I got this award, or I made X number of dollars, or I make X number of dollars a month. And that's not how I define success for myself anymore. It's, have I figured out a system that is duplicatable and I can share with other people? And I know that's kind of weird sounding because everybody's like, why do you even care if you create a duplicatable system or something that other people can learn? Now, I, for selfish reasons, want to do that. I want to be able to teach the people I know, love, and care about that they can do the same thing. I want to demonstrate that and show that to them, and so that they can show that to other people, et cetera, and so on and so on. Remember the commercial? And so on and so on. They tell two people, and they tell two people, and so on and so on. That's a really old commercial. Isn't it funny how old commercials and slogans and things stick with us? I haven't watched television for the most part in decades, yet that commercial still pops into my mind almost as if it's like right in my conscious all the time. It's funny how things like that pop up, which there's a lesson to be learned there too, that if we can create that in the people that we're here to serve, how powerful is that? If we have a message like that that can stick with people and resonates with them, it'll stick with them for maybe their whole life. I mean, that commercial is probably from when I was a little girl. I'm 59 years old. So how powerful is that? How powerful is that messaging that we don't even realize that we've been influenced by when it influences us out of the blue decades later, right? I haven't thought about that for a long time. So, excuse me, neither here nor there. What am I working on? Well, I found out I'm going to have another grandbaby, so I'm super excited about that. My daughter's going to have a baby. I'm not sure, probably next year, which seems like a long time away, but it's not. I mean, it's amazing how fast time goes. And of course, being pajama grandma, I am super excited about that. I love my granddaughter, but I want more. I want more. Isn't that selfish? We always want more. That's the human condition, is no matter what we have, no matter what we create in our lives, we always want more. And we ask ourselves, why does somebody like Bill Gates, why does he always be wanting more and creating more? Well, it's our human condition. Why does Mark Zuckerberg want more people on Facebook? It's our human nature to always want more. And sometimes we feel guilty about that because we're like, I want more of this, I want more of that. And some people will look at you and they'll say, oh my gosh, you've got so much abundance in your life already. What could you possibly need? And I don't think it's about needing things. I think it's about, as human beings, we just always want and strive for more. We want to be continually improving. We want to be better, faster. We want to be a better version of ourselves all the time. And I think that's a good thing, to always be wanting to improve and be better and striving for more. Not everybody feels that way, but I do. So, working on just me. Also, the 90-day challenge, the 90-day live influencer live video challenge with the sexy boss, Heather Ann Havenwood. It's going really, really well. Today is day 61, and we're talking about the sideways presentation, the inner, I call them robe, the reasons, objections, or obstacles. B stands for beliefs, and E stands for excuses that we use when we first hear about a new thing, and how we overcome those. So this is the phase 3 of the sideways presentation. I call it the sideways presentation. I have 4 phases that I describe and teach people about. So today is the promise of how you can possibly overcome your inner issues, your internal objections, or your internal, false beliefs or fears over trying something new. So it's kind of fun. It's really fun to break this down because it helps me to understand it better. And if I can understand it better in really simple terms and details, and I can explain it and teach other people it, that means that I am learning it as well. And not only do I teach about it, then I actually do it too. And a couple of days ago, my video was so bad. It was like, oh my God, this is so bad. So I like the days where I have a little more time and I can actually plan out and think about and practice my implementation of this. And I'm going through kind of a personal focusing and really a personal struggle, whether I want to go a direction with what I'm doing online or not. And I've resisted it because it is super personal, and it is something that I've pretty much hidden from the world for decades. And it's the whole chronic pain, chronic illness, and health challenge issues. And I've got a new health challenge that I'm trying to decide if I want to talk about or not. And it's because of my internal false beliefs that I think that I've resisted talking about it and sharing it. And so I'm going to wrestle with that a little bit today. I've been trying to take a little bit of time every day for the last couple of days to really hone in and wrestle with this. As part of the 90-day challenge, I decided that I would talk to people that have chronic pain, women with chronic pain, because it seems like, and I'd have to look up the statistics again, but it seems like chronic pain in women to men, it's definitely more women. And I don't remember, I read a statistic a long time ago, so I'm not going to quote it. And again, statistics can be and do it and say whatever you want them to. If you know how to find the information, you can find information to support whatever your argument is on any side of anything imaginable ever. Or you can create your own statistics to reflect what it is that you want. So even though I am a process engineer and statistics are a huge part of our existence and what we do and how we do it, especially in corporate America, statistics, if people only knew, they're so influential, but they're also so much BS for the most part, right? You always have to, when you hear a statistic, think about it. And the reason they work is because they trigger our emotions, and we think about them emotionally instead of, well, is that even true? We don't even argue in our minds about whether how that statistic was determined or where it came from, or is it even true? We don't even ask ourselves that question, is it even true? We just assume that when somebody throws statistics at us, that it's a fact, and that's so misleading. So working on that. Anyway, I know that more women are influenced by chronic pain than men. I also know that as women, we tend to hide it more because we already feel like in the world of work and business that we're at a disadvantage. And I don't know why we feel that way. Maybe because we entered the workforce later than men, but that doesn't make any sense. And nowadays, in this day and age, again, that's a false belief. And we can choose to believe whatever we want. Just like I can choose to believe whatever I want about chronic pain. That's been a long time coming. But I decided to talk about it and deal with it in this particular 90-day challenge as my assignment, my homework, because it feels like a low-risk way of bridging the gap for me personally from my professional life to personal life, and how chronic pain has impacted my professional life and my businesses and my choices and the things that I've decided to do or not do in my career, in my businesses that I've owned, and going forward as I move into online endeavors. And I'm trying to decide if I want to talk about this new challenge or not and how I build that in. And my biggest false belief around that is that if people know I have chronic pain, if people know I have chronic illness, if people know I have this new health challenge, will they still continue to work with me? And I think it's probably a fake false fear, one of these fears that we have that is absolutely unfounded in fact. But like so many things that are unfounded in fact in our belief systems, they're part of our being. And we just say, I am this, therefore this is what will happen. I can't do this because of blank. And I hate the word can't. My dad always taught my sisters and I that there's no such thing as can't. And it's won't, I'm not willing to, I'm afraid to, I shouldn't, I couldn't possibly, whatever. But really, can't is mostly in our minds. It's most in our imaginations that we can't do something. I kind of believe that there's always a way to figure something out. There's always a solution. There's always a way to figure something out. And maybe it isn't the way we've always done it, but there's always another way to get the result we want. We just maybe have to think differently about it. You know, I think about, and I'll give an example. With chronic pain, I used to be a tennis player. I used to love to play tennis. I played tennis in high school. I played tennis in college. I loved playing tennis. And I have challenges with my vision. So when my vision went bad in college, I tried to play tennis. I tried to play tennis for about a decade. It was funny. It was interesting. It was hilarious. Every attempt I made to play it. And I didn't really ever commit to, I'm going to figure this out with one eye no matter what. Because I believed that had I wanted it bad enough, I would have figured out a way to, with no depth perception, play tennis and still be good at it. But it wasn't, there were other things that I could do. And I chose to do other physical activities to replace the tennis when I realized that, okay, I love to play tennis. I am a tennis player, but guess what? If you got only one eye, you're not going to be a tennis player anymore. So what can I substitute and what can I do that gives me the same feeling of being a good tennis player, but I don't need to have depth perception? And so I found different activities and different things that I could do that it didn't matter whether I had depth perception or not. And that's sometimes what we have to do, especially with chronic pain. I find one of the things that people that are chronically ill or have chronic pain, we tend to focus on the illness and the pain. And the more we focus on the illness and the pain, guess what? The more of it we get. But if we can find a way to focus on the times when we're not feeling intense pain or when we're not sick and use those times to create what it is that we want, all of a sudden we get more and more of those times and we're creating more and more of what we want. That's been like my little secret of how I've made my life work over the last, decades and decades. It's been decades. I'd like to say years, but no, it's been decades and decades. And again, most people don't even know that I have had chronic illnesses and that I have had chronic pain my whole life. So anyway, working on that 90-day challenge. Going to go make those videos right now. I wish you an absolutely amazing and incredible day. If I can help you in any way, shape, or form, hit me up. Find me on social media. Just drop me a note, drop me a message, drop me a direct message and tell me, hey, this is what I need help with, or can you help me with this? Can you link me up with this person? Is there anything you can do? Hey, I have chronic pain too. What would you recommend about this? My whole focus on this 90-day challenge is helping women to make money in spite of chronic pain. Because I think one of the biggest challenges for those with chronic pain is, there's a whole lot of them, but one of them is, the biggest one is making money. Because let's be honest, if you've got money, you've got options. And when you have options, life becomes a whole lot easier in any situation. And people can argue with me about that, but I'm going to say, yeah, poppycock, because those that have money have the opportunity to help themselves, to have the freedom to choose different treatments and different possibilities that aren't open to people that don't have money and are dependent on other people or government agencies and things to support them. Because the support that comes from government agencies or from outside of them is always conditional. Even in relationships, if your support comes from your spouse, it's always conditional, and you're at this feeling of desperation and loss because you're depending on other people to provide for you. And that never feels good, right? All right, go out, make it an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another little excerpt on what I'm working on and what I'm doing to grow and supersize my online businesses. Take care.